Hello, Angel here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you for stopping by. And if you've been here before, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for supporting the channel. Either way, warm welcome to you. Let's dive in with a VR. What do we think about that? It's a VR to Nova Luna Tarot, hashtag 10 Forever Decks. I'm not going to say any more. I think we should just dive in and start with the first card. What do you think? Sounds like a great idea to me. Let's do it. Okay, so I kind of took this as 10 cards that mean something very special to me or represent something very special to me. And the 10 cards that I've chosen have kind of been pivotal, that's a difficult word to say. A pivotal, pivotal. Oh, goodness me. I'm going to put the word on the screen and I'm not going to edit this out either. Pivotal moment in my practice, I think is what I'm trying to say. It's cards that have appeared in readings that have given me an aha moment or like an epiphany. So with that being said, we're jumping into the first card. I'm going to start by saying that my journey with tarot and my beginning witch practice started in 2020. And I quite quickly jumped into ancestral work. And for that work, I started using the Tarot of Mystical Moments. This was one of the first cards that really started to have a special meaning for me. And that is because it totally represents my ancestors. 10 of Pentacles, whenever this card, appears in a reading, not specifically from this deck, from any deck, I always take it as a message from my ancestors. This speaks to me of legacy, family lines, lineage, generations that have been and that that are to come. So yeah, I always look for this card when I purchase a new deck. This is a really important card for me in a tarot. So that's the first one. The next one is also from the Tarot of Mystical Moments, continuing on the theme with the ancestral work. This card specifically, the Knight of Cups, turned up when I started working with an ancestral guide. This was the card that represented the first ancestral guide that stepped forward for me. Specifically this card means a lot to me. It sits on my altar very often when I'm not using the deck, on my ancestral altar. And it's another card that I always look for when I receive a new tarot deck. I flick to the cup suit and to the knight specifically. So yeah, it's quite often, depending what the other cards are around it, I do read this when this card comes up as a message from my ancestral guide. So it's a very special card for me. Card number 3, that would be the only card I believe I've chosen from an oracle deck. This card is from the sacred, let me see if I can get this right and say it correctly so I don't lead you astray. This is from the Wild Sacred Feminine deck. Let's show you the actual card here. Now, this was a moment in my practice that I had a real epiphany with this card. I was doing a lot of work around healing, which is what my journey is all about with tarot and oracle as a tool. And this card came up. Now, I'm a big fan of Gustav Klimt anyway. I love their artwork. And this is inspired by The Kiss, but as you'll see, and if you're familiar with the original painting, you'll know in that painting there's 2 figures. In this painting there's only 1 figure, and I loved that this kind of related to the fact that your relationship with yourself is the portal to wholeness. And at the same time I pulled this card, I was pulling some other cards that kept giving me synchronicities about portals. So this started feeling like a portal to me, which really started resonating with me, with the portal or the relationship with myself being the portal to my wholeness. So because I was so inspired by this message, and it was like one of those, oh my goodness me, mic drop, mind blown moments in my practice. I got my acrylic paints out and I painted a picture, which I'm going to pop in now so you can see it. You've probably seen this before on my channel if you've followed any of my videos. So this is a representation now of the portal and my relationship with self, that I'm working with. This sits on my altar. this picture as a constant reminder of the message that I received. So yep, that is my third choice. I love this card. The next one, this is from the Tarot at the End of the Rainbow. This is a mass market deck. It's a deck by Lo Scarabeo, if I'm not incorrect. Otherwise, I will put the name on the screen of the publisher. Three of Swords. I'm just going to say, if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know I love this deck. This card was a stalker when I was working with this deck back earlier on in the year. And when I pulled this card reminds me of an altar out in the forest, but it still reminds me of an altar. And it was one of those aha moments again, that it suddenly struck me that the sadness and the hurt and the pain and the trauma that I'm trying to heal from with this journey, it suddenly felt like I had almost built an altar to that trauma and hurt, and was feeding my energy into that altar. And the epiphany was that that's where this energy stopped. It didn't go any further. So I was feeding my energy into this altar, but receiving nothing back from this altar. I've mentioned in a different video speaking about this card that for me, an altar is where I go to charge my altar, and then when I need to be recharged, I go to my altar to be recharged. Whereas this felt like the energy I was pouring into the Three of Swords altar stopped there. It was doing me no good in the long run. And so it was the same again. Once I'd received this message, it was that light bulb moment again. And again, the acrylics came out, and I painted a picture, which I'm going to pop a picture in here as well, because I wanted to freeze that message in time, so I could, whenever I looked at the picture, which I'm popping in now, I could always be reminded that that altar of sadness and trauma and victim mentality has been taken down. That is no more, and the energy that I was feeding into that altar needs to be fed into something that nourishes me instead. So yeah, that's why I specifically love this card. There are other Three of Swords I really like, but this one, chef's kiss. It's amazing. We're on the same artwork theme, I've got to say. I tend to find whenever I come upon a really important message in a reading, I really feel drawn to almost turn it into an art spell. And that is what happened with this deck. This is the Figuratively Speaking Tarot. This is a deck I found on eBay, secondhand. I believe this can be purchased on Etsy. Anywho, this card jumped out and slapped me in the face, literally. It was a jumper. It just flew out when I was, working with it. And it was another aha moment. It was another, oh my goodness me, I'm a puppeteer, or I'm a puppet, but I'm also the puppeteer, and I'm the one that's keeping me in this comfort zone, tied to these, what's the word? Old beliefs maybe, and these things that are keeping me stuck and held and stagnant. That's a great word, stagnant. It's almost like a snare. It's got me in its snare. And, I feel like I'm the puppet, but I'm also the puppeteer. I'm the one that's holding me in this moment. And this was a real eye-opener. And because of this card, I got my acrylics out, and I totally did some artwork basically around this card. I'm going to pop pictures in now for you. These are also sitting on my altar. As well as the Three of Swords, if I didn't mention that, that's also sitting on my altar right at the minute. So yeah, very strong messages, which I really felt the need to honour with artwork. I love this card. I love the Figuratively Speaking Tarot generally. I never see it on Tarot Tube. I think it's a really underrated deck. It's amazing. I love it. This is definitely one of my forever cards. And not just this card, the Devil card is becoming more prominent and more not important, but it's holding a special message for me when I see the Devil card. I'm going to go into that in a different video. Anyway, yes, the next one. that would be from the Tarot of Oneness. This is a deck I use for inner child work. A little bit earlier on in the year, I felt drawn to pull this deck out and start working with it with inner child work, and I did an amazing meditation. I've also spoken about this previously in a video, a monthly favourite video, which I will link in the description. I did an amazing meditation with my inner child, and during that meditation we were on a beach, by the water, obviously, by the sea, walking barefoot, hand in hand with the sand between our toes. And some other things happened during that time and in the meditation. And when I came out of the meditation, I decided to do a card draw with the Tarot of Oneness. And this was the first card that I pulled, which was, you know, just amazing, because, you know, I had just come out of that meditation where I'd been barefoot by the water with my inner child. So this, for that reason, is a very, very special card. And actually this was actually another card, now thinking about it, which I'd kind of forgotten. This is another card that I created some artwork around, actually. So I'm going to pop a picture in there as well of that. That's, you know, we've got quite a few of those cards that resulted in some artwork. So for that reason, not generally the Queen of Cups, but specifically this card really is a forever card because of that experience that I had during that meditation and after pulling this card. Yeah, after the meditation. Was that too many meditations? Too many afters? I don't know, but it works. Okay, we've got quite a few, well, we've got 5 cards left, if I've counted correctly. I've got 3 cards coming up now. Oh, sorry, 2 cards, I'm lying to you, from the Darkwood Tarot. This is a deck that I purchased also on eBay, secondhand. So a sip of Christmas beer. Sorry. Yeah, secondhand find on eBay. Purchased it in September. End of August, I think. Started working with it in September. Had an amazing experience with it. I worked with it all of October, and then it went away for November. It's currently out again. These 2 cards, oh my goodness me. First, I'm going to start off by saying, if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that the 5 of Swords and the 7 of Swords never, ever sticks in my brain. Always have to go to the guidebook for. This time, when the 5 of Swords came out in a reading, this totally spoke to me. The word jaded just kept repeating in my mind. My jaded side, my jaded self. And mainly because this character is wearing a green dress. But the jaded side kept resonating in my mind. And it started, you know, this card, without even going to the guidebook and even thinking about the guidebook or the meaning, it spoke to me of this self-sabotage, this self-betrayal, and this, you know, stabbing myself in the back, and this jaded side of myself doing this in a distorted, in a distorted way to keep us protected. That sounds a bit bizarre. But if you've seen many of my earlier videos describing this card, I'll link those in the description box. Then it might make more sense. I do hope so. At the same time, the 7 of Swords came out, and this totally spoke to me of things that, beliefs that I've picked up along the way that aren't mine to be carrying. That's what that spoke to me of. And I actually went to the guidebook for this one, and the wolf, the black wolf, in the guidebook spoke of hiding and trying to move away from male toxic. Oh my goodness me! I've got to put my teeth in. I'll put the name on the screen for you. The word on the screen. That word, whatever that word says, it spoke of that. So these 2, oh my goodness me! And after that, these 2 came out quite early on in September when I first started using the deck. And from then on, the Dark Mansion Tarot, sorry, the Darkwood Tarot, sorry, became a Jaded Self deck for me. So instead of shadow work, I call it Jaded Self work. So yeah, amazing. Specifically these 2 Five of Seven of Swords are of definite forever cards. They totally opened up. They opened up something in me, which I'm currently, right now, looking into still. It was that strong a message. Yeah, that's those two. The same time around September, I was using the Horror Tarot in connection, actually, and in combination with the Dark Wood Tarot. This was the Ten of Wands, which again speaks to me of this altar. At the same time, when I was working with these two decks, and speaking of my jaded side, I suddenly had this epiphany of a contract or a vow, or a vow that I had made to myself long ago, which totally spoke of this contract. And this felt like this contract has been sitting on this altar, being honoured or worshipped. And almost like the Three of Swords that I showed you with the altar, I felt that it was time to take down that altar as well. This altar that I've been honouring, worshipping with this contract on, felt like it, the contract is null and void, or the conditions have been met, and it's time to take this down, and it's time to move on to something different, something new. So this was very interesting with the altar theme going on throughout both of the cards, I felt. So the Ten of Wands generally as a card doesn't mean, it doesn't mean so much to me, but this card specifically means a lot to me. Yeah. If I've counted correctly, we've got one more card, and that would be a very recent card or message that I stumbled upon. I'm currently in a death year with my tarot card. That sounded strange, didn't it? That sounded bizarre, even to myself, even to me. My tarot card for 2023 has been the Death card. Next year it is the Temperance card. As with the Five and the Seven of Swords, the Temperance card just doesn't not want to stick in my brain. I have real trouble, and I need to generally go to the guidebook because my mind goes a blank whenever I see the Temperance card. Anyway, I purchased this deck in November after a very heavy October. I felt I needed a balm to soothe my soul, and so I purchased the Cozy Witch Tarot. And I was doing a bit of a flip through of the cards, and Temperance, kind of caught my eye because it says, let go of self-imposed limitations, which led me back to what I was just speaking about the contract that I'd made with myself, or the vow that I'd made with myself, and the limitations I'd put upon myself, and the need to take down that altar and to release that contract. Which made me, it really sparked, it lit a spark of excitement within me, because I suddenly feel that that's what next year is going to be about. It's going to be about releasing those self-imposed limitations I've had on myself for too long. And that really excites me about the Temperance card. So I'm really, really biting at the bit to start delving into the Temperance card. So yeah, right now and 2024, I feel that Temperance is definitely a forever card. So yes, so those were my choices. Did I count correctly? Have you been keeping count? I hope so. Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. What would be your forever cards? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to know. Otherwise, I'm going to thank you for spending some time with me. I really appreciate you supporting me and the channel. And I'm going to wish you a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I really hope to see you next time for the next video. Toodaloo!